What's up, everyone? This is Fang/VA here, coming at you with you for. Oh my god, I totally butchered my intro. That's whatever. I'm gonna keep recording this anyway. So, we're gonna be doing another Sonic Tuesday video, and in today's video, we're gonna be talking about a comic series that I'm sure you all know about because of the Super Sonic from that comic series being a absolute monster. And he was definitely a big inspiration behind Son.exe and possibly Scourge, and heck, like there's even a evil Supersonic in the Archie comics that act very similar to him. So if you're new here, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and hit that bell button, and let's get started. So, as everyone doesn't know, during the early days of the Sonic fandom, there was two comics series. There was one in the United States, which was produced by Archie, which is the more popular one out of the two, and then there's Fleetway. The Fleetway Sonic Comics was this other different universe that took that a lot of the designs went with more of the game look than the Archie comics did at times. The Archie comics, especially the OG issues from like issue 1 to like whatever it was, had more of a tone of Adventure of Sonic the Hedgehog, while the Fleetway comics had more of a tone of the Sonic Saturday morning cartoon. And what's interesting about that is that the Archie comics had Robotnik's design be the one from Sonic Sat AM. In Fleetway, it was the Adventure of Sonic the Hedgehog, although he started out with a more game accurate design. Very interesting. So, obviously, with that out of the way, there are a lot of differences between the two. Now, obviously, in the Fleetway comics, you have Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and also a version of the Freedom Fighters. Now, the big difference is that the Freedom Fighters did not consider any characters from Sonic Sat AM. It features these new characters that were based on flickies. There was Johnny Lightfoot. There was also a Pit character. I forgot his name, but I'm sure Mizu will put his name down below here in a box. And then there was also, I believe there was a turtle as well. I can't remember. And basically, they obviously took inspiration from the OG Freedom Fighters, but you know, you didn't have Bunny Rabbit, you didn't have Boomer, you didn't have Sally Acorn, and you didn't have Antoine, and you didn't have Nicole, the AI that always helped Sally out, that of course in the Archie comics ended up getting her own body. Porky Pig. There we go. I believe that's his name, actually. Porky Pig. And even Amy is very different. Now, with Amy, ironically, they went with a more confident, strong-willed, not so much, crazy about Sonic approach with her, but keep in mind, this was pre-Sonic Adventure. Although what's weird is in Sonic CD, they kind of show her being a bit obsessed over Sonic a little bit. But with the Fleetway comics, she wasn't like that, and even her hair was totally different. Outfit was different. She used a dart gun instead of a hammer, and she had this friend this duck character. I forgot her name. I'm sure that there will be pictures of everything I'm talking about. And basically, the prologue to the Fleetway comics is actually the Sonic Diary. The same Sonic Diary that Sega of America wrote, that they revised multiple times to explain Sonic's backstory. Now, obviously, this is not canon nowadays, because the Japanese lore is the same as the American lore now. Well, correction, the American lore is the same as the Japanese lore. But back then, people didn't care if they synced up. You know, at the time during America, no one didn't know that his man is Robotnik. During Sonic Adventure, combined the two names to where Dr. Ivo Robotnik is his actual name, but Eggman is a nickname. Clever way of doing that, actually. Now, obviously, one of the biggest things is that while Sonic is that cool blue dude with an attitude, he's also a bit of a... In the Fleetway comics, we've actually been dubbing some of the panels, which I highly recommend. A bit of a shameless plug, actually. Those videos always come out on Mondays of the comic dubs, although I actually do want to dub all the issues along with the Archie comics, which I'm still going to do that. I just got to get settled in my personal life first. And, you know, Sonic at times could be a bit of a douche to Tails in the Fleetway Sonic comics. And that actually took me back a bit, because I'm so used to Sonic acting like the cool older brother to Tails, instead of treating him like he's some sort of nuisance. I mean, that's how I feel that he was being towards Tails. So that's one thing. So maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, but that's how I feel how Sonic acts in the Fleetway comics. Knuckles is still the same. You know, he's still the guardian of the Master Emerald, and also the Chaos Emeralds on Angel Island, the floating island. And the one character he always runs into are these two salesmen that are secretly working for Robotnik. And then there's a bounty hunter that always goes after them. And one other difference is that, well, Robotnik didn't create Metal Sonic. Metal Sonic is a whole freaking alien race known as the Metalics, or the Metallics. And there's this giant red Metal Sonic, the main king of this race of Metal Sonics. And that is actually a reference to Metal Sonic Kai from Knuckles and the Chaotix, the giant red transformation of Sonic for Metal Overlord, and also the transformation that he has in Mania. And speaking of which, in Sonic Mania, once you get to the inside part of, he lands almost. That's a reference to the Fleetway Sonics with that Commander character. So clearly someone was a fan. Now, obviously, one of the most... You know what? I'll get to him shortly. And they also adapted their version of Sonic Adventure to where Sonic's design changed to kind of resemble more modern Sonic. He has green spikes, or a bit more stylized like modern Sonic, but you can still tell he's clearly classic Sonic. And Robotnik gets his modern counterparts outfit. And there's also a Chaos. Well, the Chaos in this game is totally different. They totally changed him up, and his design is weird. Instead of him being like this borderline god, godly being, he's a straight up monster. Now, I don't know what the inspiration is behind that, but to me, it seems like they definitely took more inspiration from Chaos 6. Because Chaos 6, he kind of resembles a monster. I'm surprised they didn't stick with the games, because Perfect Chaos is literally a dragon. He's a water dragon serpent. Quite literally. So I don't know why they didn't go with that. I need to look up at the times that they were released to see which one came out first. Sonic Adventure or the comics that adapted Sonic Adventure in the Fleetway Comics. So I'm sure that Mizu will want down below, I'm sure. And yeah, and that was actually where the Archie comic ended. No, not the Archie comics, the Fleetway comics. But much like with the Archie comics, there is a fan group that is continuing the comics, and they've even gotten the seal of approval and original and all. So, and I believe there's been times they out with the fan group too. So it's kind of cool. And what's interesting is that I mentioned this in my Shadow video, but they adapted Sonic Adventure 2. Shadow ends up actually RIPing, and he actually gets uploaded into a computer, basically becoming a 2. Now, I believe that is meant to be a bit of a reference to Nicole from Sonic Sat AM. That's basically the Fleetway Timelines version of Nicole. Instead of it being Nicole, it's Shadow the Hedgehog. Like I said, the Fleetway comics are very interesting, but they can do some weird stuff at times. However, if there's one thing that it's known for, it's the version of Supersonic that they have. Now, obviously, we all know with Supersonic, Sonic has to collect all Chaos Emeralds, get 50 rings, transform. Normally, that's normally how it goes. Well, in Fleetway, his supersonic transformation comes from stress. He absorbed too much chaos energy. And basically, anytime he gets stressed or feels some sort of mental strain, Supersonic comes out. Now, normally in the games, the Archie comics, and the various, and of course Sonic X, Supersonic is a transformation. He doesn't lose his sense of self. Well, Fleetway Supersonic, he takes great joy in destroying everything what he is. He will, if left unchecked, he will destroy everything on Morbius. He has taken. There was a point that he thought that he took out his friends. He laughed. He relished in it. Anytime and funny enough, when he would come out, if I remember correctly, Sonic would warn them that, hey, get away, Supersonic's starting to come out. So Supersonic, instead of being treated as information, he's more treated as almost like this Hyde sort of character. Actually, that's a perfect example to explain Fleetway Sonic and Fleetway Supersonic. They're very much based off of Jekyll and Hyde. And however, there was one point Supersonic lost his memories. He separated from Sonic, and he met this one character that actually a lot of people ship him with. Actually, it's this cat character. And eventually, what happens is they can't defeat Chaos, and they need Supersonic, which goes along with the games. So what happens is Sonic and Supersonic has to become one again, and because that Supersonic is back to his typical stuff, and I believe he ended up, I can't remember how it goes, but I can't remember if he ended up into his cat lady friend or not. Again, that information will be in probably a text somewhere on the screen. And basically, I can't remember if he goes on a rampage after that or he tries to. I can't remember, but that's basically where the Fleetway comics end. And you know, the Fleetway comics is not really that remembered, especially over here in America. We're more about the Archie comics and the IDW comics. Well, I should probably remove the IDW case, the IDW comics. But over here, we have the Archie comics. So, probably too many Sonic fans in America. The only memorable thing from those comics was Supersonic. You know, do I think that we had the better comics? That's a very subjective opinion. Even I was kind of shocked by how different the Fleetway comics was. But Fleetway Sonic also counts as well, because what's cool is that the IDW comics did this big issue, and they literally called it Sonic's 1000 adventure in comic form, acknowledging not just the Archie comics but also the Fleetway comics. So that tells me that even though that the fandom loves 10, that the Archie comics, well, not everyone, but a good few people I've seen on social media, as much as they would love to paint the Archie comics out as a bad thing, it's still remember fondly at Sega, despite all the BS that happened with it. The Fleetway comics is definitely something I think all Sonic fans should read at least once, at least give it a chance. Even if you're so used to the Archie comics, the Fleetway comics are good and to compare the two. I just find it interesting how different some things are, like how despite the fact that, you know, they both used the two different animated versions as the base design, their personalities do not match the version that they're being, because the Adventure of Sonic the Hedgehog Robotnik, you know, because of that show being a lot more slapstick, you know, it's more Saturday morning cartoon-esque. He has more of a goofy personality. While the Sonic Sat AM one, he's more evil, he's more serious. So I find it interesting how, despite them using those designs, they switch their personalities. And I believe I read somewhere the reason why they had Robotnik Adventure of Sonic the Hedgehog design is because I believe that show was super popular in the UK at the time. So, very interesting stuff. When Sonic transforms into Supersonic in the second Sonic movie. Knuckles, acclaims to them as soon as Supersonic lands after kicking Robotnik's butt that be careful. He is not the same Hedgehog as you knew before. That was a reference to Fleetway Supersonic. So I figured you all might enjoy knowing that little fact. I'm sure you already knew that. But anyways, I think I definitely recorded for, well, plenty of time. So I hope you all have enjoyed this video. Let me think if you want to offer your own facts about the Fleetway comics. You all know what to do. And as always, I'll see you all in the next video. Later, guys.